ready to hear some noise tonight. You're just seconds away from Let's Go Blues Radio.
No doubt about it, eh? You're listening to Curt, Bill, and Jeff on Let's Go Blues Radio, the original St. Louis Blues hockey fan podcast. Take it away, boys.
Come on, St. Louis hockey fans, stand up and cheer. The Blues are back strong. This is our year. It's the Blues' turn now.
I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Yeah, it's the Blues' turn now. With that Al McKinnon slap shot, you know we can't lose. We are St. Louis, the home of the Blues. Come on, St. Louis. Let's go Blues. Come on, St. Louis. Come on, St. Louis.
Let's do that hockey.
Come on, St. Louis. Let's go Blues. All over the hockey universe, the note is the news. Everybody's digging on the St. Louis.
Welcome to Season 7, Episode 42 of Let's Go Blues Radio. We're broadcasting live on this Wednesday, April 3rd, 2019. This is franchise episode number 175 all time, and this is our post-game show featuring the following the St. Louis Blues overtime shootout loss to the Chicago Blackhawks. My name is Curt Price. Bill and Jeff Ponder are strapped in and ready to go. To interact with us or the show on social media, follow the show on Twitter at LGB Radio. Mine is at Curt Price. Bill's is at Billy Blue Note, and Jeff's is at JPonder94. Follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, and the website is letsgoblues.com. On the site, please check out the letsgoblues.com shop for t-shirts, mugs, and stickers as well. Reasonably priced t-shirts, mugs, and stickers. Guys, I'm kind of pissed.
Can I open the show with two quick comments? One, Zed, it was not me this time, so nice try in the YouTube chat. It was actually Bill. That's why we were late. So there you go. And two, to quote Evgeny Nabokov from like 2006, thank God we don't have this shit in the playoffs. Talking about shootouts.
Yeah, I mean, this game was very. They played shitty. I'm not gonna try and sugarcoat anything. They played a shitty game tonight. They did not play good at all. I was telling you guys that I'm thankful they got a point. I too. They should feel fortunate as hell to get a point out of that shit show of a game. But anyway, I was expecting, because we've done post-game shows before where it's been a rather interesting game that we're talking about. Our very first one was the Roar Bacon game, and so that was a lot of fun. And then I think we did another one, and there was something interesting that happened in that game too, unusual. And this game, I thought, okay, down 3-1 in the third, we come back and tie it, and then we can win in overtime. Well, that'd be be a nice, happy post-game show. But no, didn't work out that way.
There's a lot to discuss with this game. We'll get to it all in a bit. But first of all, we haven't heard from Bill yet. Bill, how you doing, sir?
I am good. Can
Bill
you guys even hear me?
Oh, I can. Bill is in his home studio this week. He's been over here a number of weeks.
Yeah. So there's an empty chair in Curt's studio, but I was so despondent over tonight's game. I couldn't drive 5 minutes to Curt's house for this one. Oh God, no! It was such a terribly frustrating game tonight. So yeah.
Well, before we get into the misery that is this game, are you guys enjoying a beer tonight?
I am.
I would say enjoying.
Yeah. Enjoying's a tough word to use tonight. I'm actually drinking the since Bill's not in studio, I'm going to take the advantage and go first because that never happens. Yeah. So Bill, you just sit back, relax, and listen to me talk. I'm going with the Urban Chestnut, the Black Lager, as it says on the can. Smooth, black, simple. It's just a good smooth beer. So if you like lager, and something that's, doesn't taste like cat piss, I won't say what I'm talking about, but I think half the audience probably gets that. The black lager is an excellent choice for you. Something good and light.
Douglas Johannes in the YouTube chat said the tweet said Ponder's fault, and it did, because it was initially an issue that you had to restart your computer.
That's true.
Yeah, but and then all of a sudden and then Bill had some audio stuff that we could have went forward with it, but we wanted to put forward as good a quality of audio as we could.
We want this show to sound as rich as Curt is.
Well, that's not asking for very much. Bill, what you drinking?
I drank it a couple weeks ago. Still had a couple left over, so nothing major. The New Belgium Oak Spire bourbon barrel ale, caramely, toffee, not hoppy.
Yay!
It's a beer.
Mine is from Big Muddy Brewing in Murfreesboro, Illinois. For those of you familiar with Big Muddy, and or not familiar, is their s'more stout, which I had never had. You always see it in the store. I never got it. Picked it up. It's very desserty. It's good. But I don't think you gotta drink a lot of them. But there's you wouldn't really drink a lot of stouts anyway unless you want to not drive home. But these are they're not bad. They're okay. Nice dessert. Today in Blues history, courtesy of the @STO Blues history Twitter account, April 3rd, 1997. Pavel Demitra scored his first 2 goals as a member of the St. Louis Blues versus the New York Islanders. Demitra scored a 3rd goal, but it was disallowed for a high stick. So he would have had.
And that was after a coach's review, right?
Yeah, it might have been.
Or was there,
you're right.
Or was there a foot in the crease?
Yeah, no kidding. That was
98. That was 98, 99.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. The one year they had that rule. April 3rd, 1996, the consecutive game streak started that Grant Fuhr had. The St. Louis Blues stopped at 76 games as he missed the game on April 3rd, 1996. He missed a total of 3 games that's in a row with a dislocated kneecap. His 79 appearances in the 95-96 season is still an NHL record.
Imagine that nowadays.
That's never going to get broken unless the game changes drastically somehow.
Or if they start playing like as many games as baseball leagues do. I mean,
Right.
if they play like 162 games a year, then you'll see that broken.
79 games played. That's never going to get broken.
No.
And there's no way.
That's one of those sports records you look at and you say, yep, that's never getting even touched.
Yeah, that was a byproduct of Keenan's madness.
Yep. Well, Holtby a couple of years ago, he had wasn't it 70 games played? And I mean, that was, people were like, oh my God, that's insane. And it's like, yeah. This guy had a streak of 79 games, 76 games.
April 3rd, 1989, Rod Brindamore signed his first NHL contract. It was with the Blues after winning Rookie of the Year in the CCHA. And Rod the Bod. And then 1997, this date in 1997, Al McInnes tied Brett Hull and Brendan Shanahan for the St. Louis Blues single game record for shots on goal with 13 in a 5-5 tie versus the Islanders back in the day when there were still ties, which I hated ties so much. I always said I'd rather lose than tie a game. It may sound stupid, but at least something was decided.
Yeah, one of the most interesting games I've ever been to is a 0-0 tie with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh, God.
That was crazy. Joseph versus Fuhr.
13 shots in one game for a defenseman. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot for anybody.
Yeah, Ovechkin gets 13, and you say, whoa, for a defenseman, holy cow.
Yeah, I know. It's not unheard of for Ovechkin to put up like 6 or 8 shots. But, man, 13.
Yeah, 5-5 game, though. I mean, how many power plays? It could have been quite a few.
7.
Jeff remembers. So the Blues, we're in the playoffs, so there's no down to the wire last game of the season, winning it in nonsense this year for the Blues. We're in, so it's just a matter of who we play now. Tonight versus the Blackhawks, we had a chance to establish a tie for first points-wise anyway, with 96 with the Jets and the Predators, and they could not quite pull it off. Not that they deserved to earn these 2 points tonight. They didn't. We talked about that briefly. Allen versus Ward. The Hawks were officially eliminated from the playoffs last night, I believe. And this game, I was encouraged, and let me know if you guys agree with this or not. I was encouraged by the start of this game. They didn't play good, but they were almost playing good. They had a number of they were just missing on like bang bang in tight close quarters passes, and I thought, okay, well we're almost getting a ton of chances. Like that last little bit didn't get there, and we're missing on some chances that way or opportunities that way. So I thought, okay, it'll come together. We'll as the game goes on, we're gonna make these chances happen, and that just didn't really materialize to me. And I think the game got worse as the game went on.
Honestly, I was encouraged by the start of this game, and we'll get to the Kane and Taves here goal here in a second. But outside of Kane and Taves, I thought the Blackhawks looked pretty damn crappy too. I thought a lot of their team was like, well, we were knocked out of the playoffs, so what's the point? And that's the way they looked going in. So I thought, okay, two teams playing shitty, it's going to go to the better team. So that was my thought, and obviously didn't turn out that way.
Yeah, no, the way the Blues played tonight, like I said, I expected it to get better as the game went on, and it just really didn't until they were opportunistic in the third period, and the power play helped tremendously with Perron's goal. But the first goal that Chicago scored, Kane to Taves, turnover at center. And let's talk about this real quick. The NBC's, let me know if you agree with me or not. Okay, well, I'll rephrase. Let me know if you guys are correct in agreeing with me or not. The Blues did turn the puck over at center, and that's all the broadcast guys on NBC could talk about was the turnover at center. And I was like, man, that's not why that goal was scored. That the goal was scored because when they came down low, when Kane and Taves came down, it should have been 2-on-2. Ended up being almost a 2-on-0 because they didn't do a 2-on-1 really. But Bortuzzo and Dunn both went to Kane, and Bortuzzo's sliding down on his stomach, and Dunn's skating towards. I'm like, nobody wants to go to Taves. You got two guys back. I mean, granted, they had a step on the Blues defenseman, but I'm thinking if Bortuzzo goes to Taves, because Dunn's already on the right side, and he was closer to Kane. If Bortuzzo goes to Taves, maybe he gets a stick on the pass. Maybe something happens where they don't score. He just lays down, and it's almost a gimme goal.
Oh, I agree with you, and I agree with NBC Sports Network. Yes, that I thought defensively they did not play that well. That 2-on-2 just was sloppy. Blues, I think they both saw 88 and just thought, okay, this guy's going to shoot. He's always going to shoot, so go to him. But when he's got Taves on his line, I mean, there's always the chance he's going to pass it to him. But I will say, breaking in, Vince Dunn, he's kind of a turnover machine when he doesn't have his head in the game, and I don't think he did tonight. So that's going to happen. I mean, we talk about how, games, there's turnovers constantly.
Well, he didn't turn the over, though.
Well, it was O'Reilly, but it was his pass.
He put it right on O'Reilly's tape, though.
Yeah, but he put it in O'Reilly's tape in coverage.
Yeah,
I thought that was a poor decision.
I agree.
To give it to O'Reilly. He should have went across his body to the right side of the rink or dumped it in himself.
I agree. But after that,
I thought that was a poor pass. Now
I agree.
We were talking about this before the game that O'Reilly, a lot of the NBC Sports Network was kind of giving O'Reilly flack for it. I don't give O'Reilly any problem at all. I think he was trying to cut to the middle. That's a design play, and I thought that was just a poor decision by Dunn to try and get him the puck.
I heard them ripping on Dunn. Go ahead, Bill. Sorry.
I was just gonna say it's. I'm watching it again, and Taves gets his stick in on the pass. Like Taves reads that pass from Dunn to O'Reilly the whole way. It's I put that on Dunn, and then what the fuck? Double coverage by the defense on Kane. I mean, I don't know what. This is the first game that I can recall Bortuzzo and Dunn playing together. At least I don't know. Did we get caught in a line change there? What
I think so.
Not used to seeing them out on the ice together, and they did not look like there was any kind of communication or understanding of who was going to do what. And that's something where you can't double cover one guy, especially with sick mitts like that. He's going to beat you and find the open guy. If there's anything to fault O'Reilly on, it's not recognizing the bad defensive coverage and getting back to try to tie up Tave's stick.
Yeah, I don't fault O'Reilly in that situation because we had two defensemen back. I mean, they weren't, like I said earlier, they weren't back, but they were there with Kane and Taves. They were, I mean, but they essentially, Dunn and Bortuzzo essentially turned themselves into one defenseman because they're right next to each other, in between the two Hawk players. So they were ruined the opportunity to disrupt that play, I think. So the turnover center, yeah, that's what started the whole transition back into the blue zone. But we had guys back, and I think we really fucked up with the defensive zone coverage there on that play with Kane and Taves. And somebody commented on Twitter, which made me I didn't really think about it at the time, but it was interesting. They said that the Blues, Dunn and Bortuzzo on that play, they both attacked Kane. That just shows the team's lack of confidence in Allen, that they're trying to do too much. And I thought, well,
maybe,
but I didn't go there initially, so I didn't really think that was the case. Maybe, but
I think it's more. I think it's more them trying to look at the type of player that has the puck. Patrick Kane, 9 times out of 10, is going to find a way to get a shot on goal, whether it's for a rebound or for him to score himself. But I mean, the guy, like Bill said, guy's got sick mitts. He's, he can pick his spots shooting, he can pick his spots passing, and I just feel like the defense, they did not play that well. They were playing him for the shot rather than what any player does in that situation, and that's get it to the guy in front who's wide open.
We got some conversation going on in the YouTube chat. Let's see. Grant Early says the defense was hot garbage tonight.
Yes.
Tice Huck says, I think the Blues are perpetually cursed to play down to bad teams. It's happened so often, and they even admitted that they do it. We've talked about this before with the Hawks. I don't think it matters, but for the Blues and Blackhawks, the Blackhawks in their building. Granted, both teams didn't play a good game tonight. It's not like the Hawks played like, oh, let's take it to the Blues. This is just a bad hockey game. I don't because the Blues have been playing better against worse teams lately. So I think the playing. I mean, am I wrong about that? But I think the Blues. I think the whole narrative that the Blues play down to bad teams hasn't been as pronounced lately.
No, I think you're right, and I think that teams are going to have bad games. I mean, it's going to happen, but I would counter this more to they got into the playoffs. That was the big thing they were making sure they wanted to do here in the last couple games was clinch it as quick as possible. They got in. This is the game after where they say, okay, Blackhawks are out. Let's just go in. Nobody get injured. These guys are going to play us hard. Just play a good defensive game. And I think they got in their own heads. I think that's just part of it. That's just what you're going to see in teams that just make the playoffs.
I don't know. I hope that's not the case. I mean, this was the game in hand against Nashville that would do a lot go a long way to getting you home ice advantage in the first round. And I felt like they should have stepped up. They should have been ready for this game. They should have been able to execute better than they did. And I thought this was a game that they needed to make a priority. And, it just didn't look like they had it in them.
They should have destroyed Chicago tonight. They should have.
They should have.
Absolutely.
They should have rolled over Chicago tonight. They had nothing to play for. They're playing spoiler. And it pisses me off that a game that really, there is no reason for the Blues not to get to this game. I know you said that, they made the playoffs and that was the goal. There could be a letdown game or whatever. I understand that.
I'm not giving them the excuse though.
No. I'm just saying I understand that point of view, but this is a game. Not only is it a game that we can tie points for first, we still lose the tiebreak to Winnipeg, but we points wise we tie, and they have 2 tough games coming up. So we tied in that respect, and it's also against the Blackhawks. So if you can't get up for a game against the Blackhawks in their building late in the season, when you need to win it anyway, I don't get it. I mean, you're not playing Florida, you're playing a rival anyway. It should be you should be up for that game regardless of the standings.
Let's face it too. I mean, this is likely Jake Allen's last game, hopefully in a Blues uniform, which we'll probably get to later. But if you really love the guy like they say they do, if this locker room's as close as we hear they are, you think they'd say, okay, guys, this is probably Jake's last game until the playoffs. Let's have him go out with a bang. I mean, we're playing a division rival. Fans traveled up here from St. Louis for this game. Jake, this is Jake's last game, possibly. Let's go out and bring it to him. And there was none of that in this game, none whatsoever.
The Blues early on in the second period, in the first minute, they the Tarasenko from Shannon Parayko, perfect shot on the 2-on-1 with O'Reilly over the glove, and he's done this a few times this year on that exact same play. Gets inside the faceoff dot, and he's left wing and picks that upper glove, that far corner.
What I love about that,
you cannot place a shot any better than he did. It's a bar down. That's the perfect shot.
Well, and what I love about that shot too is he didn't just try to roof it. You can tell he picked the spot between the glove and because he was in so tight that it's hard to snipe a goalie right there if you're not going the way that he shot it. It actually didn't it beat him under the glove, just under the glove, and then went far down.
Well, Bill can probably attest to the whole. If the puck's out farther, you've got the chance to get the glove on it. But if it's in the more the crook of your arm, that's a lot tougher save, is it not, Bill?
Yeah. I mean, if it's in the crook of your arm, you can't extend like that. That's the natural reaction you want to do. You want to throw the glove up, whereas crook of the arm, it's awkward. Try to hold still. You try to bring your arm in. You'd rather it be going away from you than coming through you.
Right. That's where your glove is, because your glove's out there a little bit.
Yeah.
Unless you hold it in tight like this. Like actually, Binnington does that. He holds his glove kind of like this.
Right.
Holds
it straight vertical, which is.
And that first goal on one. That first goal on not the first goal. Which one beat him? Not Anisimov. Was Anisimov's goal? Which one went upper?
Anisimov was the tip, wasn't it?
Yes, his was a tip, and then Taves was the redirection low, and the third one was
Kane breakaway.
Yeah, Kane breakaway.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of a different game, I guess. Never mind.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of the one that hit the crossbar. I think one hit the crossbar.
Oh yeah,
and it was a upper glove, and I was thinking that Binnington would have gloved that. I think because Binnington holds his glove in a different spot than Allen does. He holds his glove up higher.
Yeah, that was DeBrincat, wasn't it?
It might have been.
Yeah, DeBrincat hit the crossbar.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is just going back and watching the Tarasenko goal again. Yeah, it was straight over the crook of the elbow, just perfectly placed, like you said. I mean,
Yep.
Perfect sniper shot.
Tice Huck says, in all honesty, I hope it's his last game, like forever. Yeah, I mean, the only scenario where he plays a game again is if the Blues can't improve their standing in the standings last game of the season. Maybe Allen gets a start. Or if he sees time in the playoffs, if Binnington gets lit up or something and they bring in Allen. That's about it. You never know. And people say, oh, they might move him in the offseason. Good luck.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know who's
I don't
going to
know.
take that on.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
he's been better the second half this year, but I mean, that's still a gamble for somebody. We're gonna have to take on some shitty player in a trade for somebody to take Allen. And
That's the only way. It's going to be shitty contract for shitty contract.
It's gonna suck.
Somebody who wants a backup goalie versus, wanting to get rid of, their shit fourth line player they're paying $5 million to.
So we're not gonna.
Or the Blues are going to have to give up a decent prospect for somebody to take on that contract.
Sucks.
Yeah.
And then Chicago, Anissimov's goal from Cahoon and Saad. Schwartz missed right before that on a great chance. Tried to go up her glove on Ward. What is with Schwartz's shot? That shot looked slow as shit. Look at wrist shot. Like if I was taking a wrist shot in that game, it didn't look.
No confidence.
It had no zip on it. It was like that would look like an easy save for Ward.
Well, we'll get to. Go ahead, Bill.
I was just gonna say he hasn't had confidence even when he started scoring. He had a couple games where he puts them in. He's completely lacking confidence, and I mean, gripping the stick too tight, I think.
Tice Huck in the chat says, if you showed a picture to someone of DeBrincat who had zero clue about hockey knowledge, they would say he looks like a douchebag, and they would be correct. That's pretty good.
There's your comment of the show right there, like that.
Yeah, beat that comment.
Good job, Tice. No, and Schwartz, we're gonna. I don't know. I guess we can go ahead and break him down right now because Bill, I think you had mentioned before the game started, and this was something that I had noticed, and I had even said to my wife as we were watching the game, stop putting Schwartz out there in big moments. I mean, I thought there was 2 plays in a row in overtime where he just turned the puck over. The Blues would get the puck after Kane and Taves would cycle. They'd get it to Schwartz, and then either he would just lose it, like flat out lost it, or he tried to carry it in and take a shot on goal, completely missed the net, and then the Blackhawks come the other way.
I agree.
He has looked awful. And then this game particularly, I thought he looked really bad and should not have been out there.
I didn't think in overtime, I didn't know why the first good half of overtime, the Blues were not patient. They were just busting up the ice and trying to take guys one-on-one and losing the puck and turning it over. The first half of overtime, the Hawks had the puck almost the whole time, and the Blues would come up, finally get the puck, come up the ice, and they would just try and beat a guy one-on-one or try and split the D with 1-on-2. I'm like, what are you doing? Slow it down.
Yeah, it wasn't until like Tarasenko's third shift in overtime, maybe it was the second, where they finally started cycling a little bit. Before that, it was run and gun. It's like, what are you doing? Like,
I know.
You got 5 minutes here of 3-on-3. Like, take your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I on Schwartz, I got really frustrated. We wound up tying the game, but that late power play, Schwartz is out there. Thomas wasn't out there, and the Hawks were allowing the puck to go through Schwartz because they know he's probably going to turn it over, I guess. That boggled my mind. Why do you keep running the guy out there? We talked a little bit before the show started about, the bullshit turnover stats in this game. The Blues were credited with 3 turnovers, and the last 15 minutes of the game, I felt like Schwartz had 5.
Yeah.
He didn't get credit for any of them. It was Tarasenko, O'Reilly, and Bortuzzo.
Bill, you're right. I think that it's a confidence thing with Schwartz. And it's just, it's like, what happened to him? I mean, it wasn't a year ago that he would get the puck and we would all say, all right, Blues are going to get a chance here. It just seemed like every time the puck was on his stick, something would happen. But this entire year, when Schwartz is out there, I'm saying, okay, come on, let's just 45 seconds. He's off the rink and we'll get a good player out there. I mean, I hate to say that, but he has not looked good all year.
It wouldn't shock me in the least if after the season's over, they come out and say that Schwartz had a wrist injury all year or something. Because his shot is not what it was. I don't know what's going on. And Bill, you mentioned Thomas. I thought Thomas had a fantastic game. I thought he was all over the place. And I'm like, he's going to score. He's going to set somebody up. And he would have had a really nice setup to, it was Schenn. And Schenn was awful tonight. Terrible. He set him up backdoor early in the game and just missed it. He missed. It was a beautiful pass and just missed it. Backdoor.
Hey, I'm sorry. I have to comment on something right now in the YouTube chat. Hotard 12, you never compare me to John Hadley. How dare you? How dare you, sir? We're no longer friends.
Is Hadley still on the air?
He's the manager of 590, and he's a real douchebag.
Oh, I know he's a douchebag, but I didn't know if he was still on the air.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of hate right now. The board op that everybody loved over at TMA just lost his job because of Hadley, even though he said it wasn't because of him.
Drama.
Yep. We love you, Plowhawk. Please come back.
So I didn't have the let me pull up the actual stats from the third period. Because the Hawks went up 3-1 on a goal by Patrick Kane about was it halfway through the third period about, and then Perron and Bozak. You know, the Bozak goal. When I saw this, I'm like, okay, well, they're going to challenge it. They have to. I mean, I didn't see when I saw the replay. I'm like, well, that's not goal interference, but they're going to challenge anyway because there's like 40 seconds to go. I mean, you'd be stupid not to challenge. You have to. And obviously it stood. So, I guess you got to feel good about the comeback in the third period. But I like we said, this was one of the worst games I've seen the Blues play in a long time.
Wait, real quick. You mentioned the goal. I just want to get Bill's take because my wife and I were going back and forth whether that was goal interference. Bill, what do you think?
Not at all. It for once in my life, and it pains me, I had to agree with Eddie Olczyk. It was just a hockey play. He was in the crease. The only skate that made contact with him was the skate that was behind his pad, and he stopped the puck going. Bozak stopped the puck going into the net on his own the first time, and just banged home the rebound off his own skate. I thought it wasn't. It wasn't goalie interference at all.
Does the position of where the puck was, because I was looking at it, and this was the thing I was saying, and this may be completely off, but I feel like a goalie would agree, because the puck was where it was square to Ward. It was basically right where his belly is, and because Bozak was more on the side, because we've seen goalies get their skates tied up with another player's skate, and then that's called goalie interference. We've seen that before. But because of where the puck was, does that play factor into why that didn't matter that their skates were locked?
I didn't think the skates were locked.
I didn't think so either.
And
I thought I was going to say, I thought that Bozak straddled the pads pretty well. He had
I agree.
One skate
that's
on
hot.
either side.
I think he didn't make hardly any contact with Ward. And I think even if he had made more contact with Ward, the fact that Ward didn't seem to know where the puck was and didn't try to make a save even after the initial chance when the puck was loose, and then Bozak put it between his legs, Ward didn't know where it was. He didn't try to make the save. So the fact that he didn't even try to make the save, that tells me that even if Bozak did make more contact with him than he did, it would have still been allowed because Bozak didn't prevent him from making a save because he didn't try to.
and it could be that he didn't try to make the save because he was so pissed off at his D for letting Patrick Maroon fucking walk him and throw a saucer pass to an uncovered man right in front of the net.
Yeah, it was like,
I mean, it was nice roller hockey move by Maroon, but forced the defense.
by Fatty
That
Patty.
is one hell of a reference. That was a roller hockey move. I like it. And on Patrick Kane, oh, that just felt so good.
That play is a good example of why the Hawks are not in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, when you pay what 35 million, 41 million to 4 players, 35 million to 3 players, you don't get a lot of talent for the rest of that money.
Yeah, you can't send everybody off on LTIR to make room for more players in the offseason or trades at the deadline.
The way that their pay structures, it actually matches how Let's Go Blues Radio is. The two good hosts get about 90% of the paycheck. That's why they're stuck with 10% of me.
Oh, from all that revenue that is
All that
yet to be realized.
podcast revenue.
Yeah. Okay, all this bogus Hotard 12 and Ponder talk. I'm gonna scroll back up to the actual real hockey talk in the fucking YouTube guy.
Oh, great. We got a bunch of guys at Queenie Park watching right now. What's up, boys?
Let's see. Didn't it seem like Tysock didn't seem like Schwartz was trying to do way too much in the overtime period? Yeah, which was you don't do one-on-one shit in the overtime. Oops. Oh. You got 20 guys watching at the rink, really?
I'm not surprised. Everyone's up there drinking after the games are over. Bunch of alcoholics.
Nothing better to do.
Jeez, you guys are all just a bunch of alcoholics.
Yeah. Yeah. Why the? You know what? That's at Queenie Park, right?
Yeah.
So why the fuck are there not rails on those concrete steps going up to the concession stand?
Oh,
Because you got skates on, you got fucking skates on, and you're leaving the rink. Yeah, that's a death wish going back down those concrete steps with no rail.
Yeah, they encourages those tournaments to drink at the bar, but it's like I gotta walk up a bunch of stairs to get to the bar.
It sucks. Put a handrail up there. My God.
Well, I think what's worse is the scoreboard there. The scoreboard's been broken for about 6 months, and they still haven't fixed it. So you can't tell if there's 4 minutes left or 9 minutes left.
I look like a 8-year-old kid learning how to skate. I was scooting down on my butt down those stairs. I don't want to kill myself going down those stairs.
Well, I'm at least a man, and I at least go down on my feet, but still.
Yeah, well, I don't want to break my neck, which I probably would.
That's a risk I'm willing to take.
So playoff scenarios after this game. We are now 1 point behind Winnipeg and Nashville, with each team having 2 games remaining. We do have an easy. We have an easier schedule. The same schedule as Nashville, I think it is, or we have 2 with the same. But Winnipeg has they have tougher teams, which we always talk about. Oh well, they have an easy schedule or a tough schedule. It doesn't fucking matter. You lose teams like Chicago. The Blues ran the table in February almost against a really tough schedule. This whole they got a tougher schedule. It doesn't mean shit.
That's something I've said on this show multiple times. Yes, some teams are harder than others, but these are the best 31 teams in the world. So at any given time, this isn't 30 years ago when the Detroit Red Wings are finishing with 115 points and their first round opponent finished with 75 points. These teams are neck and neck. 8th place, 9th place, 10th place can be 12 points behind first place. You never know. The exception to Tampa. So yeah, I agree with you. It doesn't matter, and people shouldn't get caught up too much into that. But I know it's hard to look at the standings and say, how the hell do you lose to Chicago? But at the same time, it's going to happen.
Same thing happened last year. Lost to Chicago on a fucking Duncan Keith goal in the last few seconds of the game. And that essentially cost us a playoff spot. With the Colorado game after that. But that game sucked. Had we held on for that 1 point, we'd have been in the playoffs. But and then we can't get on Chicago in this year. But and Tice Huck in the YouTube chat says, how good is the possibility that the Jets fall into second and it becomes a Blues versus Jets first round? It's very possible. I mean,
Yeah.
Everyone's tied, so they're well.
Yeah. So Blues have Philly tomorrow and Vancouver on Saturday. Both, pretty faded, faded a long time ago. The Predators have the Canucks tomorrow and the Blackhawks on Saturday. Can the Blackhawks return the favor, or do they just not show up at all?
I wouldn't put it past the Blackhawks just to be dicks, to be like, well, let's just get blown out 10-0 and fuck the Blues over.
Right. And then the Jets, on the other hand, have the Avalanche and the Coyotes. So the Coyotes aren't mathematically eliminated yet. So they're playing. I think they're still fighting at the bottom, aren't they?
They are.
Avalanche and the Coyotes. So the Jets have to play two teams that are scrapping to get in. So they definitely have the much tougher of the opponents.
Yeah. I mean, both of those teams are going to give them their all because their playoff lives are on the line.
I don't know. Well, it's going to be because Arizona's 4 points behind Colorado, and there's 2 games left for each of those guys. That's going to be tough for Arizona to get in because they don't have the ROW right now, and they do have more wins though. So, who do you want to play?
Nashville.
You want Nashville?
I want Nashville. We've said this on the show before. For one, just because we know that's going to be an entertaining series. Obviously, any series could be a 4-game sweep, but the way you look at that series, the teams are so evenly matched. Plus, the Blues have I think a fairly good chance of getting past Nashville. Winnipeg scares me, and I was telling this to a buddy of mine that's a big Tampa Bay Lightning fan, lives in the East Coast, and I was telling him, like, man, I don't want Dallas. I really don't want Dallas. And he laughed at me. He's like, dude, Dallas blows. And I'm like, yeah, but for some reason, they've got the Blues' number. So I would like to avoid Dallas and Winnipeg if at all possible.
I don't care.
I'd actually rather have Winnipeg over Dallas.
I think I would too.
I don't even care. I think it was asked in Twitter earlier today who we wanted to play, and I was like, I said, you know what? Let's just finish first and see what happens. But now I don't have any confidence in that happening. So and I think I said I'd love to see Nashville. I think a hockey fan wants to see Nashville and St. Louis. That's going to be the most entertaining matchup, I think, by far. So I'd love to see that in the first round.
Well, on a global stage, it's not even just St. Louis. I think you're looking at, they're going to get the 8:30 start no matter what because we're doomed in the central time zone. But I think, you look at the East Coast, the West Coast, that's a series that everyone's going to be tuning in for. I think that's an NBC Sports. They're sitting there going, oh, please give us Nashville, St. Louis.
Yeah. Winnipeg has not been great either. I mean, lately they're kind of struggling. I mean, but for a while though, they were running away with the division, and now everyone's caught up. So they're not. They're 5-5 from last 10. They're about a 500 hockey team the past month.
They looked terrible against the Wild the other night. Just everything was out of sync, and their defense was just not good. Connor Hellebuck came back down to earth after his super season last year. Hasn't been as good this year, but just they racked up their points early and kind of held on. So I'd be surprised if they don't fall to second.
Our friend Zed in the YouTube chat says Preds versus Stars, Jets versus Blues in the first round, Preds versus Blues in the second round. That's the matchup for success. I see that to a certain extent, but I actually kind of want to see Jets and Stars and let them battle it out. And then the Blues just get whoever's left there because again, I think not just because I think the Blues beat the Preds. I want to see some entertaining hockey that first round, and I am afraid that the Blues play the Stars for it just because they seem to have their number. I'm afraid that could be a short series, and I really don't want that. I want to see some. We haven't seen playoff hockey here in 2 years. Let's get something good out of it.
We're not playing the Stars unless we finish first. So
yeah, but that's somebody didn't ask if we played the. Well, either way, I don't want to play the Stars at all. So let's just avoid that. And the Jets. I think the Blues could beat the Jets, but I'm all for the Preds. That's what I want to see.
I part of me doesn't care. I mean, but yeah, I agree with you. I think if I had to pick a team, it'd be Nashville.
I want to see Pat Maroon just rock PK Subban into the boards to open the game. That's what I want. Oh God, that'd be great.
Yeah, I do.
Remember when Scott Mellenby did that to Gary Suter?
I don't.
It was 2001. Very first, it was like the first 10 seconds of the game 1 against the Sharks. Scott Mellenby just ran Gary Suter's head into the boards, made them all bloody, set the tone for the series. That's the kind of thing I want to see.
I'm all for it. and it's revenge for a couple years ago when we lost to Nashville.
Yep.
So in the conference, or no, in the when was that? Lost them 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yep. That's right. Right?
Yeah.
2 years ago because they beat the Wild in the first round.
Right, and Preds bounced us in the second round.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I seem to recall Jake Allen giving up the series losing goal from his belly on a breakaway by Ryan Johansson or James Neal, one of those two.
But he's such a good playoff goalie, Bill. His playoff numbers are great.
Small sample size.
I think the one series.
We're talking about that one season against the Wild.
The one series skews his numbers. When you talk about small sample sizes, that one series against the Wild skews his numbers. If you take out that series against the Wild, he is a subpar goalie in the playoffs. Average, I mean, numbers wise.
Then I'll mention
facts.
So I want to mention this just for in case anybody else is wondering. We did get a question: do the playoffs follow the 3-on-3 overtime format?
No,
no, they do not. 5-on-5 to the next goal scored. That's why you see some games that go 2-3 overtimes, which are the most fun to watch,
or 4 or 5 overtimes.
Yeah, like Pittsburgh, Philadelphia.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, that is the game that I think about every time I think about a long playoff series.
Who got
fans sleeping in their seats is Primo.
That's right. Yep. I talk about this every time. When that game was going into overtime, I thought, oh man, I missed a good game. I'll catch the end of it in overtime. I saw almost 2 more hockey games.
Yeah, it was crazy. I remember watching all of that game, and it was 3 hockey games worth of hockey. It was insane. And
there's no commercials in overtime.
Yep. Yeah, that's the beauty, fans, for those that don't watch playoff hockey. No commercials in overtime. It's awesome.
A period's like overtime period's like 35 minutes long. That's not that long.
Nonstop hockey. I remember that game because I remember I fell asleep going into the second overtime. I think I slept for an hour and a half and I woke up and it was just starting the 4th overtime. I was like, oh, I guess I kind of didn't miss anything.
Let's see. Colorado can make the central matchup if the Stars lose out and the Avs win out. Yeah, I guess so, because they're 3 points down. We'll see.
Hotard says this show is an MMM action. I will say that is the most popular MMM action.
Binnington was named Rookie of the Month for March. Back-to-back Rookie of the Month awards for him. Real fast, does that change your guys' perception of him possibly winning the Calder over Pettersson. And I'll say this about it. Pettersson has 1 goal in his last 21 games. Does that affect anything for you?
Yes.
Okay.
It does for me. It definitely lends credence to the fact that, you can put them up side by side. Binnington wasn't around for the first half of the season, and you can make the argument that Pettersson hasn't been around for the second half of the season. So.
He's putting up points, but no goals. He's got 12 points in the last 21 games.
Yeah, the difference is that Binnington didn't have the opportunity to be around for the first part of the season. Right. Pettersson still does.
And the other key difference is that Pettersson didn't get the Canucks into the playoffs.
Right. He didn't get in the playoffs, and he has not done it at the end of the season, which, to be honest, if you're going to be up for an award, it's always better, usually in sports, to have a better second half. Like the players that start off hot and fizzle, or they tail off a little bit and don't have as good a strong a finish, and the players that finish strong, especially with Binnington, like you said, to put the team on his back more or less in February and be the catalyst that sparked this 11-game win streak and got this team into the playoffs. Granted, that doesn't show up on the those whole narratives don't show up in the stats at all, but that has to count for something. And I'm not saying he's going to win it, but I agree with Tice Huck in the YouTube chat. He says, I believe Binnington has a better shot than what people may think, in all honesty. And I think that may be the case. He's the sexy topic right now for rookies.
First of all, I want to kind of fix something of that I said last week. I listened back to the show and I realized, and maybe this was an Easter egg for Missouri River Otters fans. I kept calling him Lars Pettersson. Lars Pettersson is the former top center for the Missouri River Otters. So that was pulled out of my ass. So for you River Otters fans, maybe you caught that. Other people are probably saying, who the hell is Lars Pettersson? So Elias Pettersson. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I said this last week and I'll say it again, that if he wins, it's not like I'm going to be upset. I'm not, what the hell? Binnington deserved that. If Binnington gets a nomination, I'm happy with it.
He will,
and I'm happy with either of those guys winning it because they're both very deserving players. You can make the case for either one. So either way, as long as they're both invited to Vegas for the award show, that's a win for me.
And here's the deal too: is that goaltending, you rarely see a goaltender win Rookie of the Year. I think probably because rookie goalies don't tend to have. Rookie goalies don't tend to have great seasons. They don't tend to get a ton of starts. So I think rookie skaters, they have much more opportunity to win this award. And it's very telling to even have a rookie goalie in this conversation right now with the amount of games he's played. So Tysuck also says the hardest times to play hockey, which I agree with, are the last few months. And that's when Binnington came in. He faced desperate teams and so on, and won. Pettersson in his last 21 games has 1 goal, which we discovered. So yeah, and I was just gonna bring this up. The games, this is a tough time to win in the season because teams are pushing for the playoffs. So you see the cream rise to the top in the last month or two of the season because teams want to get in the playoffs, and so teams are supposed to be playing the best hockey, and it's harder to win. So, and he's done that under that, in that ecosystem.
Well, we've talked about their February. I mean, Not only were they winning the games they needed to, or winning at a time they needed to, they were beating the best teams in the NHL consistently, and they still are. I mean, I know they just lost to the Blackhawks, and it's an upsetting night, but you look at the Tampa Bay Lightning; they went 2-0 against them this year. Bill's fighting with his girlfriend right now. That's what you're hearing.
Okay.
Oh yeah. We'll
thank you for muting yourself, Bill.
Yes, thank you, Bill. But no, and Curt, you said it last week. The award is not given to however people want to call it, it's given to the most proficient rookie.
That is the definition of it. That is,
Yeah, that's the exact definition. And to me, a proficient rookie is a guy who put up good numbers and got his team from last place into the playoffs
during the most difficult time of year. And
Yeah.
people like to compare him to, oh, well, Andrew Hammond, he didn't get the rookie of the year, and he went on a fantastic record, just like Binnington. You want to look at Hammond's numbers compared to Binnington's? Binnington's are substantially better. Yeah, they have went on similar records and went on similar runs, but Binnington has been by far the better goalie if you compare the two numbers, right? Goals against average and save percentage, it's not even close. I think Hammond had like a 2.3 GAA or something.
Yeah.
Bennington's is 1.85. It's not even close. Not even close.
Yeah, I think Hammond had 2 shutouts and Binnington has 5. That, and also, and we mentioned this last week too, people have used that as an argument. Well, people didn't even look at Hammond. It's because they couldn't. Hammond was not a rookie. He was a first-year player.
Yeah, that gets overlooked a lot. Yeah, because he didn't he wasn't even eligible for it because he had played before.
as Bill referenced last week, that is the Makarov rule. So if a player is 28 or older, they can no longer be qualified for rookie status.
I'll pull up Andrew Hammond's numbers here.
So I've unmuted myself.
Yeah, so Andrew Hammond, he went his record it was 15-16 where this happened, and he was I'm sorry, was it 14-15? He was 21-2. Is that right? No, that's not right.
Hang on, I can tell you.
The season, it was 21. So he went 21, 7, and 11. I think.
Okay. Yeah, he went. Okay, here we go. He went 21-2.
Okay.
In 24 games.
Okay, so his numbers were.
He did have good numbers. 1.79 GAA, 3 shutouts, 941 save percentage.
So I was looking at the wrong year. So yeah, I was wrong about that. So he did have similar, a tick better than Binnington.
So that was 2014, 2015. I'll make sure my math's right on that. He's 31 now. So that would have been 4 years ago. Maybe he was rookie status.
No, he wasn't. He had, was it an age thing? I think it was an age thing. He was too old.
He might have been.
Because he's 31 now. Yeah, he was too old. You can't be older than, what is it, 25 or 6?
I thought it was 28.
28? Okay.
I could be wrong. Maybe not.
Pretty sure you're right. 28.
Okay, well that would make him eligible.
I guess he was eligible.
What? No, but I don't think he was.
Okay, keep going. I'll look it up while you guys talk.
Yeah. So, who won that year?
Who did win that year?
Because I think that may be the key to this.
Okay, so to be considered a rookie, a player must not have played in more than 25 NHL games in any preceding seasons, nor in 6 or more NHL games in each of any 2 preceding seasons. Any player at least 26 years of age by September 15th of that season is not considered a rookie. So it's 26, which he was older than 26.
He was too old. That's why he didn't qualify.
Yep.
I thought it was like 25, 26. I know Binnington's 25, so he qualifies. So yeah. So he was not eligible for the Calder anyway.
Right.
But he did have great numbers. Better than I thought they were. Man, God, 21-2. Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
And his goals against average and save percentage were a tick better than Binnington's. Man,
that's Bill Day high school numbers there, if you ask me.
Well, he had 15 Hart votes and 7 Vezina votes, and surely if he had been younger, you'd think a goalie who gets 15 Hart votes and 7 Vezina votes would qualify for Rookie of the Year. Who did win that year?
I didn't look.
It was 2015. 14-15 or 15-16? Which one was it?
14-15. It would have been Artemi Panarin.
No, Panarin was 15-16.
Oh, you're right.
Ekblad was 14-15.
Who was?
Ekblad.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Okay, we've been vamping now for about 10 minutes.
All right.
Yeah. Ekblad, that guy that you forgot about because he plays for Florida.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nobody knows they still have a team. Yeah. Uniforms and everything down there.
Yep. They've even got an ice sheet down there.
Before we wrap the show up, we'd be remiss to say that Charles Glenn is retiring. He announced that came out today, right? So he's
Yes.
he has MS, which I don't think was made public until today. I didn't know about it.
No, I didn't know either.
He's had it for 7 years, and it's not progressing rapidly, but he does notice things are a hair harder to do than a few years ago. So he has some things he wants to do while he can still do them. So he's still going to perform at events with his band, the Charles Glenn Group. So
I am yet to get out to see them. I have been told they are fantastic live, and I keep saying I'm going to go, but now that I know this, I'm going to make myself go out. We should have an LGB radio night. We go out and see the Charles Glenn Group. That'd be fun.
How cool would it be for the Blues to get to the finals and win a cup and have him sing the anthem for the cup clinching game in St. Louis?
Oh, imagine the storylines that NBC would be running with there.
Yeah, because he's gonna when the Blues season's over, then his season's over.
Yep,
and his career's over for as far as national anthem singers go with the Blues.
Yeah, I mean, I know you guys probably all want to say your piece on Charles Glenn. I tweeted a little bit about him already on Twitter, so I'm not gonna rehash all that. But something I didn't say is I've met him multiple times back when I was in the media. There was times when I'd be coming down after the game or before the game to the media room, and he'd be kind of standing outside having a drink of water or something. And the first time I ever met him, I walked past him. I could tell he was kind of in a hurry. He was with two other guys that were walking somewhere. I think it was actually before the game. So he was probably trying to get down to ice level to do a national anthem. And I just passed by him real quick, and I even said in my head, I'm like, oh my God, it's Charles Glenn. So I just looked over at him and I just go, Charles, I was like, good luck. You do a great job down there, man. And he stopped. He grabbed the guy that he was walking with, one of the guys, stopped him, and he said, hang on. And then he goes, what's your name? And I said, Jeff. And he goes, Jeff. And he shakes my hand. He puts his other hand over my top hand, and he just goes, I appreciate that so much. You do not know how much it means to me when people tell me that. I thank you so much. He's like, anytime you see me out, you say hello, okay? And I was like, sure. I was blown away at how nice he was. And like I said, he was obvious he was in a hurry, and he took time out of his day just to talk to somebody who told him he does a good job. And then, like I said, every time I saw him after that, nicest guy in the world. So this was upsetting news for me. I love Charles Glenn. I know everyone in Blues Nation does. So yeah, good luck to him. I hope he gets to accomplish everything he wants to in life, because he's brought a lot of joy to Blues fans over the years.
Yeah, everything I've heard about him has been fantastic. So nice guy. It'd be weird to not hear him sing the anthem anymore. But
yeah, by all accounts, like you guys have said, nice guy. And I mean, he has his own rendition of the song that, a lot of times when somebody tries to do a little different take on it, it doesn't come off so well, but Charles nails it every time. And tremendous performer. Multiple people pointed it out on Twitter today that and I think you did too, Connor, when you go to the games and he's not the one performing it, it's kind of a letdown. So, it's going to be sad to see him go, but yeah, let's get him into June, shall we?
And I think the Humboldt, the anniversary of the Humboldt crash is tomorrow. Is that right?
Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, Saturday. And for those that aren't aware, hopefully you're hearing this before Saturday. If you haven't heard this already, 4:00 Central Time. Maybe it was 4:10. Shit, I should know the exact time. I'll look it up before the show ends. What was it?
4:50.
Bill?
4:50.
4:50. Okay. Yeah, that's right. 4:50 on Saturday. There is a, I guess, North America wide moment of silence, because that was the time that it happened. So make sure that if you're out and about, or even if you're at home, Let's have a moment of silence together for the Humboldt Broncos at 4:50 Central Daylight Time on Saturday.
You know what's interesting about that is that this whole thing and the hockey community. The hockey community is unlike any other in sports. They talked about it on NBCSN, and I'm like, I couldn't agree with you more. When hockey players and the hockey community, they come together, and it's a interesting dynamic, a family dynamic that it doesn't matter. They'll rally around each other, stuff like this, like crazy. It's just interesting, and growing up playing hockey, just I don't know what it is, but hockey players are different than other athletes, and in a good way, and it's a cool thing to see. All that's coming. I mean, they raised how much money? $15 million for expenses for families and things that cover all kinds of stuff for them to deal with this. So it's and somebody else raised $4 million more. It's almost like $20 million they raised for this whole thing to help people out. So that was just nuts, crazy, and it'll be nice on Saturday to partake in the moment of silence to honor that.
Yeah, and one more thing too with that is I know I'm pretty sure all three of us participated. Something that I thought was just wonderful, seeing the pictures after it happened last year of the people putting their sticks out on their front porch.
Yeah.
And, I even had some of my neighbors, I live in an area where I don't think anybody on my street, maybe they're Blues fans, but they've never played. And when they saw that, they said, "Oh, Humboldt." I mean, it raised awareness of what was going on. So that was just as dark a moment as that was. It was great to see everybody come together in such a sad moment and be able to bring awareness to that small town there in Canada that witnessed such a horrific event.
Yeah, I know when I explained to my daughter what I was doing, I put the stick on the front porch and I told her what I was doing. And when I was telling her what I was doing, my 9-year-old daughter, I was like, I guess she was 8 at the time, but I got this lump in my throat just talking about it. And I'm like,
yep.
Yeah, it just, and again, it's that hockey community that it doesn't matter who you are, where you live. If you play hockey, you're part of it, and it's like you're part of that family. Next up for the Blues, Philadelphia tomorrow. So I guess this is I don't care anymore. Let's just finish the season and put playoffs. Jesus Christ, I'm done with the season. The season's been a emotional roller coaster. Let's just start playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with you. Thursday. So it's Thursday, Philadelphia, Saturday, Vancouver. I'm with you. I want to see 2 wins, but at this point, I'm with you. I mean, if they lose, it's okay. Let's just get there. I want to see game 1, and I hope it's against Nashville. That'll be good to see.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see Nashville win 1 of 2, and then we could win the last 2, and then have home ice against Nashville. That'd be great.
I'd love it. Let's do it.
Yep. That's how I want it to play out.
Okay, so that'll do it for this week's show. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, I'm Curt Price. That will conclude this week's broadcast of Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Wow, let's go Blues.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Sport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available.
A look at sports.
I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to #1. Now there's no more blues for